Welcome to Awakening You channel. We hope you found something here that sparked your interest and assists you in your awakening journey. If you appreciate what we do, please support us. Thank you. This information came in the form of a conversation with the Archangel, and is recorded as such. I am wondering to myself why so many people are feeling such sorrow and anxiety and depression, especially at this time when we are supposed to be experiencing the joy of the new earth. So many people have waited and waited and waited. Where is the joy, they ask. Why am I so depressed and sorrowful? What do I need to do to cleanse myself and enter into my joy? And, as I am thinking on these topics, Archangel Michael says to me, are you ready to hear the truth about this? Are you willing to accept a perspective from the quantum reality? Can you change your way of thinking? What do you mean? I ask. Well, the Archangel replies, we have spoken on several occasions about the nature of illusion, and that only love is real and true. The fabric of the cosmos is unconditional love, and that love is expressed as divine bliss and joy. That is reality. That is truth. But you ask me, why is there so much sorrow and depression on the earth, and I will say that it is an illusion, for all is love. Okay, I say to the angel. So it's an illusion. So, how come so many people feel this illusion so intensely that they become depressed and sad and lonely? Well, Michael replies to me, can you allow me to explain something basic to you? In the world of duality you created pairs of opposites to describe experience. Love and hate, light and dark, joy and sorrow, is this not so? Yes, I reply, that is how we understand our experience on earth. Well, says Michael, imagine a world and a way of being that is not dualistic and based on duality. Imagine a world on oneness and unity consciousness in which there is only energy, and that energy, which expresses as light and sound, is the basic fabric of all life. And because it derives from the source, it is pure love. Now, as you experience this energy of pure love, it is received as waves of energy from the source via the galactic center. You have also learned to move the energy among yourselves in your interactions, and you experience the source energy in its various manifestations through your body. Now, we will say to you, that this energy always and only expresses love. What you experience in your lives and through your bodies is the experience of intense love made manifest on the material plane. It is you yourself who interprets these waves of pure energy as love or sorrow or joy. It is your choice as to how you will experience this energy according to your interpretation of events. For example, when a wave of pure intense energy moves through you, you can choose to experience it as ecstasy or as pain and sorrow. The experience itself is purely the reception of energy into your body through your nervous system. Now, in the last several years, as you have ascended into the fifth dimension and begun to make use of your multidimensional energy bodies, you are accessing ever more intense fields of source energy. And this will continue. You are riding waves upon waves of blissful source love. But, you are choosing to interpret and experience this energy as stress and sorrow in many cases. But why? I ask. Well, comes the gentle reply, the energy is intense and it applies intense pressure on your physical being and your nervous system. This kind of intense stimulation is what you associate with sorrow and suffering and depression, for in the third dimension, where most of you created the illusion of security, it was rare for you to experience intense feelings and emotions other than when you were afraid or sorrowful or depressed. And we might also say, that for many of you it has become a habit. You have locked yourselves into patterns of interpretation and perception that lead you to conceive of this intense energy as a negative stimulation, and to experience it that way. You also have so little experience of the intense energy of bliss and joy in your lives, and so you really have very little to use as a model for intense joy and bliss. Experience is, as we have said before, a flow along a continuum of energy that derives from source. You choose how you will experience or interpret this energy that is always love and joy. Okay, I say, but what about if someone dies and leaves you? Or what about if a lover abandons you, or you lose all your money? Are these joyful experiences and should we be filled with joy? The Archangel replies gently, well, we do understand how difficult these apparent experiences are when they are felt in the human form. For the human form is dependent on illusion in many of its ways of understanding reality. Let us take your first example. If someone dies, well, in truth there is no death, for all are infinite beings of light who exist in many dimensions. That which you call death is merely a shift from one level of energy or reality to another. It is and should be a reason for joy, for the energy that was sent from Source into manifestation then returns to Source and its mission is accomplished and completed. But humans who are limited in the world of illusion and duality see only that something has ended and is lost, and so the intense emotions of this passage are interpreted as sorrow and pain. And this is not anything wrong, it is merely a choice that you have made, and that you can change or modify when you are ready to truly live in the flow of oneness and unity consciousness. So, let us consider your second example, someone loses all their money and their home and security. Of course there is intense emotion and energetic disturbance that is interpreted as depression. But again, this is an illusion, for in reality you have the right to be safe and protected, as you indeed are, by spirit, if you will allow this. But you have given this away to an illusion that you call economics or the money system and you look to that to support you. When it fails you fall into fear, because you have limited yourself with an illusion and you are not being supported by the love that will tell you that all is well and that you will be cared for if you just allow the flow of energy to pass through you. So the intensity of the experience becomes depression. It could be seen as an opportunity to allow spirit to work with you and to support you. If you were courageous and strong and trusting. Now, the issue of abandonment by a loved one. Well, that is also an interpretation of the flow of life. There are many reasons why people and relationships come together and end. And it is a common choice for there to be an assigning of blame. The most common judgment is made against the self, as in I was not good enough, and that leads to sadness. You live in a culture where individual success is all, and so when there is a perception of failure and loss, there is a loss of self-worth that produces intense feelings that in turn are interpreted as sadness and sorrow. What if you were able to celebrate what had been and allow that it would leave you only to allow something new and more suited to your level of growth to come in? Then you could bless each ending without needing to enter into blame and judgment. You could move forward with the expectation of joy and love and new experiences. Wow, I say, that is quite a different way to look at life. Indeed it is. But, you might wonder why so few people choose this perception of life. Why are so many locked into the realms of sorrow and its friend, anger? Well, you come from many lifetimes of spiritual traditions that have taught you to judge yourself and blame others. Dualistic spirituality does focus on good and bad and on analyzing experience according to this model. So, it has become a habit for people to judge and find fault, to blame self and others, rather than just accepting what is and riding the waves of emotion and feeling into new states of being. And, we will share with you why this is so. You have forgotten how to be true warriors of light and to flow with the waves of energy from Source. You have no training in the skills of courage and perseverance and acceptance, so that when you are buffeted by waves of energy, you do not have the strength and the serenity to ride out the storm in the understanding that all is well. You fall into sorrow and anger. Now, if you were trained as warriors, you would accept your fears and sorrows in the knowledge that they are illusions, and you would seek ways to move through them to the reality of love and joy. And so often this is just a matter of changing your expectations and perceptions. Okay, I ask. I have just had a letter from someone who wants to know why she cannot find joy and why she feels such a failure. She says that when she was on holiday she experienced a high frequency, but then she went back to work and she lost it. Why? Well, dearest friend, obviously her work pulls her down. She cannot feel the joy in this work. It may be that the work is not expressing her passions and desires and that she needs to create another form of work. But it is also true that in your culture you have lost the understanding and appreciation of work as a place of joy and creativity. That is because you have turned work into a way to create money, and very few of you work for joy and love. You have forgotten that the primary focus of work is service and the expression of unconditional love. Do you not recall the poet who said that work is love made visible? So, it matters little what you do, as long as you are aware that this work is your opportunity to serve others and render your love visible. If people worked with that understanding, they would indeed find the frequency of love and joy in their work and their daily lives. So, we would say, the creation and experience of joy is a choice that each human can make. And that choice will become easier as you learn to release old perceptual and experiential habits and addictions to sorrow, and begin allowing yourself to fully experience the powerful surges of divine unconditional love as joy and love in your own lives. This requires a fundamental acceptance of the benign and supportive nature of the universe, and an acceptance of all that is and all that flows into your experience, and that it may be accepted with serenity and joy. This is not a license to commit acts of a negative or harmful nature, in the understanding that all is love. Remember, love only expresses itself as support and acceptance, anything else is illusion and needs to be re-experienced until the love emerges, for underneath all things is love waiting to be expressed and experienced. It is up to you to find it and express it, and to feel it as joy. And, not to judge the experience if you do feel sorrow. For just know that in unity consciousness all is one, and that sorrow and joy are one, for in truth, only joy is real. After this discussion with Archangel Michael, I did a channel for someone where he further elaborated on the distinction between joy and happiness. I think this is also useful for many people right now. As for the problem with feeling so little joy, well, this is not a problem with the light body. In fact, the more radiant the light body, the more difficult it can sometimes be to feel joy. That is because the intensity of the light puts great pressure on the physical vehicle, and this can be interpreted as stress and depression. You see, dearest one, in your culture for thousands of years you have not experienced intense joy and light. The body is not used to the feelings of intense energy in the light body, and so many feel that life is moving too fast and there is little joy. It is up to you, as a light worker, to break the patterns of the past, and allow your body to interpret the intense energy not as stress, but as joy and passion. It involves merely a change of perception and understanding. For once you perceive that the joy is there all the time, and that all you have to do is allow it and receive it, then you can feel it and express it. But do not judge yourself, for you think that you know what joy is. But in truth, you are just now learning the true meaning of joy and how it can be felt and expressed. For joy is not happiness as such. Joy may be experienced without happiness, for they are not the same. Joy is a deep state of spiritual awareness in which you connect with all that is and understand your place in the great cosmic dance of life. It is a deep gratitude for life and for the gifts of the Source. Happiness is an emotion that arises when a being is in circumstances that feel comfortable, sensual, fun, and give the body and soul pleasure. Now ideally, the experience of joy and happiness as one is what you all seek. And indeed, as you become more at peace with your inner joy and more skilled at creating your own reality, then indeed you will be able to experience both joy and happiness at the same time. But understand, that as an awakened being, you are already in that state of joy, if you would only allow it and appreciate it. And then, once you have felt the gratitude, you can begin to create the happiness that will give pleasure to your body and soul and will unite with the joy in wonderful and miraculous ways.